Sing, goddess of the wrath of Achilles. The story you are about to hear is one of the oldest of soldiers' tales. It is a story of honor and fidelity, of devotion and betrayal, and of love in war. It is a story of families and individuals and the tragic consequence of a single act. Its themes are universal.
Our story takes place in the ancient Greek Aegean in 1500 BC. The gods and goddesses are celebrating the wedding of the goddess Thetis to the mortal Peleus. Unfortunately, the goddess Strife has been left off the guest list, and in anger, she spoils the wedding by throwing a golden apple into the crowd. Engraved on the apple are the words, "To the fairest." Of course, all the goddesses claim it, and the task of deciding falls to Zeus, who, unwillingly to get into the middle of the argument, recalls a story he heard of a mortal named Paris, who lived on Mount Ida near Troy and was the most fair-minded of mortals. He sends for him.
Now, Paris, the board of the king and queen of Troy, what is your judgment? Before you stand Hera, queen of the gods.
Gentle Paris, behold in depth to my character, the fidelity to my family. My cheek is as rose, delicate and fairful. I am not the fairest. Say yes, and I will grant you a happy home.
Athena, goddess of wisdom.
Strong Paris, behold my strength and my grandeur. Behold the curve of my sword arm. On the shoulder the owl, a symbol of wisdom. Am I not the fairest? Say yes, and I will grant you a great power.
Aphrodite, goddess of wisdom.
Fair Paris, behold.
Aphrodite appears to Paris, having just washed her long hair in the river Scamander.
Judge me the fairest, and I will give you the most beautiful woman in the world.
Paris bows before her and sets the golden apple at her feet.
She, Aphrodite, is the fairest of the goddess. That is my judgment.
Hera and Athena are enraged and storm out of the wedding.
Wherever you go, young man, beware, as you have angered the goddesses. But for now, the fairest will lead you to your prize, the beautiful woman, Helen of Sparta.
Paris is taken to the house of Sparta, where he is treated with great hospitality by the king Menelaus and looked on with loving eyes by the queen Helen. Late one night, Paris and Helen flee the kingdom and sail for Troy, infuriating Menelaus.
Greek leaders from neighboring kingdoms assemble in Mycenae, the home of Menelaus' brother Agamemnon and his wife Clytemnestra. Their purpose? To sail to Troy and demand the return of Helen.
Leaders of the allied kingdom, you have come to honor the oath given to my wife and her betrothal to me, that you would defend her marriage vow, because she has been stolen from my own home. We must go to Troy to retrieve her. If her word for this means we would be there already. How many miles have we traveled? By land? By sea? We've gotten nowhere.
I would defend my oath, but the goddess wrath overpower us.
Perhaps we had best go no further. My wife, Penelope, yearns for her protector. My young son, Telemachus, his father.
I am ready to fight. I will defend my oath to the death. My honor cannot be restored until Helen is returned to you with my help.
I will follow my friend Achilles to the death if need be.
Gentlemen, my wife cannot take the strain.
My daughter Iphigenia will not go like a lamb to the slaughter. I understand your distress over the loss of your wife Menelaus. That she is my sister makes my heart rage of vengeance, but not by the sacrifice of a daughter.
Woman, the decision will be made by me in consultation with alliance. Your feelings cannot take into an account.
Although he doesn't show it because of his unsuccessful attempts to launch the ships, Agamemnon's mind is made up.
Guards, bring my Virginia. We should have a ferry for Troy. Tomorrow, we sail from Aulis.
The Greek forces get their fair wind for Troy, but once on the shores of Ilium, they are faced with the great walls of the city itself.
Look at the gold we have pillaged. Divide it up, Ajax. Behold this fine slave, the daughter of Chris of Apollo.
She's very strong, and they are cousins.
Speak, what are your names?
I am Prices, daughter of Prices, a priest from Lernus.
I am Chryses, the daughter of Chryses, priest of Apollo.
I understand that you have been raiding the villages, and Apollo has been angered and is raining down taped down arrows on the soldiers. As leader, I command you to give this girl prizes to make up for my loss. Deliver her to my tent immediately, and rest of you have some sleep, because tomorrow there is a fresh assault happens in the walls of Troy.
I refuse to give up Braces. I have grown fond of her.
There are others.
We can take her by force. No one can come of disobedience, and trickery can turn deadly. Take her to Agamemnon, Patroclus, but he will pay for this. I will refuse to fight, and when the others learn of it, they will not fight, and what chance will have done?
Achilles' refusal to fight fuels the discord of the Greek forces, and Agamemnon is unable to lead them. The war is at a standstill.
Atop the walls of Troy, King Priam, Queen Hecuba, and the royal family look with suspicion from the palace.
I cannot understand. It's been days since the last attack. Perhaps our defense is still wearing them at last. When will they next attack? Many women have lost sons, husbands, and brothers. Our people are suffering. Perhaps the gods are merciful. Helen will approach pale. Paleness does not affect her. Our people are willing to die to be in her presence and possess her.
Just then, Hector, Prince of Troy, rushes up to them. A look of concern flashes across Andromache's
My
wan
dear
face.
husband, why did you put on your helmet? It makes our son look upon you in horror. Check it out, Father. You have spoken too soon. The arms of Achilles leading horses to our gates. Andromache, I will do as you ask, but only to say farewell. I will meet Achilles and stop the raid of our homeland.
Hector removes his helmet and embraces his son and his wife. A short time later, Hector returns carrying
Father,
Achilles.
behold the arms of Achilles. But the man I killed was not Achilles. What could this mean?
Achilles, who had been brooding in his tent, discovers his armor missing.
Just then, Ajax and Odysseus run in.
I thought you were leading us to the gate.
And we followed you and struck you dead.
But it was not you. Beneath your armor, it was Patroclus.
What? My best friend? Slain? Who is responsible? Prince Hector, the son of King Priam and the Perseus brother.
Achilles runs out of his tent, not to the gates of Troy, but to the shore where he calls to his mother, the sea goddess, that is for help.
Thetis commands that new armor be made for her son by Hephaestus, the god of fire and metal. Achilles' new armor is impervious to weapons of any kind.
Hector sees the new armor and hears Achilles call to him. He kisses his wife and baby and meets Achilles at the gates.
You must pay for the murder of my best friend, Patroclus. He was honest and good. You must die! My eyes will be dim. Prepare yourselves!
They fight.
And Hector is overcome. He falls, and from the ramparts comes a wailing from the women of Troy. For days, Achilles drags the body of Hector around the walls of Troy.
Achilles, I have come to retrieve the body of my son, heir to the royal house of Troy.
His body is a war prize and retribution.
I have brought gold exchange for my son. I understand that 25 ducats is appropriate.
Put the gold on the scale.
Priam and his daughter Polyxena set the gold onto the scale.
The gold you brought does not meet the condition.
Polyxena, with tears in her eyes, steps forward and removes a heavy gold chain from around her neck. She puts it on the scale with the gold coins. The scale tips.
Narrator 1. Achilles, his heart overcome by her sorrow and loveliness, finds that he has softened.
Please sit down, King Priam, and tell me how things have come to this.
They talk of their sorrows until late in the evening. All the while, Achilles grows more and more fond of Polyxena.
Finally, Priam, noticing his daughter's effect on the Greek warrior, offers her hand
Marriage
in
will come
marriage.
to an end to the mastery of my people. I give her to you.
I accept your offer, but this must remain silent and present. As well, I'm not commanding officer. I will discuss the union with Agamemnon.
Achilles embraces Polyxena and takes her hand.
Verily, forgive me the misery I give to you and your family.
Meanwhile, allies to the house of Troy have arrived, and as their numbers are great and their warriors fresh, the Greeks take a beating.
Soldiers came from as far away as Ethiopia, and with them, their leader, Memnon, son of the goddess Aurora. Ajax rushes into Achilles to urge him onto the battlefield.
Achilles, the fierce women Amazon warrior have come to fight. And Memnon, the son of the goddess, we need you.
I'm weary of the fight. I can't refuse you. Get my armor.
They join the melee on the plains of Troy.
Achilles is rushed from all sides, but a strong Amazon tests his strength. They fight at length until Achilles strikes a deadly blow. As she falls, Achilles tears off her helmet. They recognize each other as soulmates.
Penthesilea, Queen of Amazon.
Great warrior Achilles, you have slain one who always loved you.
Memnon!
He lashes out and spots the king of the Ethiopians. Achilles rushes him.
Memnon turns but is struck down immediately. He falls. Achilles walks off in disgust. The next day, Achilles sneaks out of camp and meets Polyxena at the temple of Apollo. This is not the first of their meetings. They have spent much time together talking about their families and their future.
Polyxena, seated beside him on a bench, tells of her childhood chasing dragonflies along the reed-choked Trojan River Scamander. Achilles tells her of being dipped in the river Styx as an infant so that he would be immortal, and except for the fact that his heel is vulnerable, he is as immortal as mortals get.
And as they talk, Achilles grows to love her and looks forward to an end of the war.
Tell me once more about your trip to Oracle at Delphi.
There will be no more tales to tell, save for the tale of your death.
Polyxena, could you have so well
The future was destroyed when you killed my brother Hector. I despise you and take pleasure in avenging my brother's death.
Paris lets fly a single arrow. It hits Achilles in his heel. A perfect aim. Achilles cries out in pain. He falls. Polyxena and Paris hear voices. They leave the temple. From the sea, a great wailing begins, and a foamy froth at the shoreline begins to churn. The sea is disturbed.
Out of the depths comes Thetis. With her come a dozen sea sisters. They prepare the body of Achilles for the funeral pyre. His ashes will be mixed with those of his friend Patroclus.
Great is my woe, my son Achilles, taken from me, after I have worked so hard to keep him out of harm's way. Great Zeus, release her from her pain. As a babe, I healed him by his heel and dipped him into the immortal water of river of Cyprus, which gave everlasting life. Achilles' heels was his only weakness.
Great Zeus, show your mercy.
As a youngster, I gave him the best tutor, a boy called Chiron, the Centaur, master of arms and learning.
Great Zeus, her misery is endless.
As a man, I hid him on the island of Cyprus, determined to keep him from war. Poseidon, god of sea, will join me at the end of the royal house of Troy.
Athena, protector of Achilles, proposes a vote for the arms of Achilles, his armor to the best soldier in the Greek forces.
The warriors must choose between Odysseus and Ajax. Agamemnon broods over not being nominated.
I have 2 jars. One jar full of clay marbles that represents Ajax, and one for Odysseus. Let the votes be counted.
Athena, fond of Odysseus for his clever strategies, sees to it that he has the most votes. Agamemnon peers into the jar.
It has been decided by the soldier of the Greek forces that Odysseus will receive the arms of Achilles.
Stunned and silent, Ajax looks off into the distance. He does not notice when the rest of the soldiers leave.
In rage, he leaves his tent to track down Agamemnon and Odysseus.
But the goddess Athena sends madness into his body, and instead of slaying men, he smooths down swine used to feed his fellow soldiers.
When the madness leaves him, he is blooded.
I am ashamed. I've slaughtered not men but swine. I am a soldier. It is my purpose to bring down men. My power is wasted. I cannot live with such shame.
And Ajax falls on his sword.
Days later, Priam watches as the Greeks burn their encampment, load everything onto their ships and sail off.
Puzzled, he assembles a group, which includes his daughter Cassandra and Laocoon, priest of Apollo, and his 2 sons. They investigate down at the beach.
Before them, in the sand, was mired a wooden horse, as tall as a house, and it was on wheels, as if transported there.
The group stands mystified at the bizarre creation.
Perhaps it is a gift of God or goddess. Beware the blood of the citizens of Troy.
Dear girl, you know not what you say. It is a magic stick instructor.
Let us take it to the city, surely as a meat offering. Perhaps Athena of her Greek violation of her temple. Take not this strange gift, which is an omen, and the end of us all.
Laocoon, the priest of Apollo, you speak so hustle. Let us examine it further.
Head our warning, the end is near.
Horse calling, his word must be false. Let us bring this horse through the gate into the city.
Priam directs the gates to be opened and the great structure is wheeled into the city.
There is much singing and dancing, celebrating the retreat of the Greek forces. Children put flower wreaths around the horse's neck, and a band of Greek soldiers begins cutting a path of destruction across the city.
Clear the city so that nothing had left higher than my knee.
While another group run to open the gates, the other side of which waits the entire allied Greek forces who had been hiding off the coast. The ancient city falls.
Next morning, the women of Troy are brought before the Greek warriors.
Their men killed, they are at the mercy of the victors.
As the queen of Troy, I beg mercy for my family. As a queen of Troy, you have no voice, and as a leader of the Greek soldier, I desire your lovely daughter Cassandra.
Menelaus approaches Helen and puts his hand on his sword.
His wish is to strike her down for the suffering of so many.
But when she turns to look at him, his love is new, and he takes her back as his wife.
Forward. And you will be given to Neoptolemus, a son of Achilles. And why did you hide yourself? And who tugged at your dress?
A soldier pushes Andromache aside to reveal Astyanax, the last
The
son
heir to the royal house of Troy shall not live. Throw him from the walls. And gather the gold and load the ships. And after 10 long years, we return Helen to her husband and can go home.
But home they go not.
Many adventures and tragedies befall the Greeks after the Trojan War, and no one can finish a tale better than Homer himself.
The hero Odysseus has many adventures. It will take him 10 more years to reach his wife Penelope, and he loses all his men before his journey ends. Menelaus and Helen are dodged by the gods. They are blown all the way to Egypt, and they don't reach their home of Sparta for 8 years. Agamemnon has the worst fate of all. Upon his arrival home to Mycenae, his wife Clytemnestra, harboring rage over the sacrifice of Iphigenia, has long awaited his return. And Agamemnon was killed by new husband Clytemnestra has taken to avenge her daughter. Whereupon she goes into the next room and murders Cassandra. And for Clytemnestra's daughter, Electra, avenged Agamemnon's death by slaying her mother. And for the story of all wars since, the devastation of battle knows no end, for the effect of violence are felt for generations, and such are the tales of the ancient.